Hey, ghostly guys and gals, it's Ghost here. I'm here for part two of the story of my life. So, we're gonna move on from, I was talking about fourth grade and that sort of thing. So, I was always saying it was a tough year for me in regards to academics. I was like in all that anxiety stuff. But there were two other really big developments that happened that year. So, I guess I'll talk about the first thing, because this might not take as long, and that's that my mom started to date this guy. And I think she had maybe been on like one or two dates, maybe since my dad had passed away. But this relationship became serious, you know. And basically, there was this guy at the gym, and like my mom would always go to the gym. I think she used it kind of as a outlet and escape kind of thing. And after my father died, she would like go to the gym a lot back then. And so this guy at the gym, he saw her regularly, and then one day he decided to ask her out. And eventually that guy would go on to become my stepfather. And he seemed pretty cool at first and stuff, but things got kind of difficult with him later on. And I'll get to that once they get married, which will happen when I'm in 5th grade. But anyway, in 4th grade, the other big thing that happened was I think this is probably when I first had like a serious crush. I mean, if you would have asked me like at the time, I probably would have said, "Oh, I'm in love with this girl," but that's kind of hard to say, especially because for a lot of that time it was like really one-sided, you know? But like so you could say it's like the first time I fell in love. I had had like a few little crushes here and there since like pre-K. I had never necessarily been like, ew, girls are gross or anything. I always thought girls were attractive, I guess you could say. But I never really had like crushes too much normally, like crushes on girls in my grade. Um, but yeah, so like I had a few crushes though here and there. But 4th grade was when I started to develop like a really big crush that would basically last for like 10 years. So yeah. Um, anyway, I don't even know how this kind of happened, but just like one day at recess, I just kind of was looking at this girl named I'm gonna call her Angie. That's not her real name. I'm just gonna give everybody basically, except for maybe like one or two people, fake names because just for the sake of their privacy and such. And a few people I'm on good terms with or whatever, like family members that I'm on good terms with. I might say their names, but everybody else I'm just gonna say like a fake name. But anyway, we're gonna call her Angie. So Angie was I just was like looking at her one day at recess. And I was just like, oh, Angie's really cute. I think I kind of like her. And I kind of just developed a crush on her. So it started out just as, I don't want to say like a lust. That sounds kind of weird, especially since I was like 9. But like it was just a superficial thing. I was just like, oh, Angie's cute. I think I would want her to be my girlfriend. That sort of thing. But it would develop into a lot more of a deeper kind of appreciation of her later on. Um, so basically, I kind of just started to stalk her at recess. Um, like I would just be like, I would follow her, but like I would be very far away, and I would just kind of like watch her from a distance, and just hope that like somehow we would interact. I had never talked. I don't think I think maybe I talked to Angie like once or twice, maybe if that, in all the times that we had been in school together. And like yeah, we were. I came to school in pre-K at that school, so like we went to a private school that was kind of small, and I went from pre-K to 7th grade, and yeah, so like we had been in the same school together since like pre-K. We were never in the same class, but we were in the same school. But even despite that, like I never talked to her. Basically, I don't think. And yeah, so I kind of didn't know what to do. And I was just a stupid kid, and I was like, I'll just stalk her and hope that maybe there's some sort of coincidence will happen and we'll interact, and then she'll like me or something. Um, on top of that, I was also kind of like, what am I supposed to do even if I do like get her to like me? Because we're like 9 years old. How are we supposed to date? I don't have a car. I don't have money. We can't go on dates and such. And yeah, I don't know. Like, basically, my mom got into my head the idea that, like, yeah, you really shouldn't get a girlfriend till you're in high school. And she's right. I mean, if even high school, I never had a girlfriend in high school either. Well, almost. Like, I got a girlfriend, like my first girlfriend, like, no, I was already done with high school by the time I dated her, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, so I still think, yeah, I was pretty smart and maybe self-aware that, yeah, like I shouldn't be dating at this age. But I was like, okay, I want to become friends with her or something, and maybe we can just build some sort of bond, and eventually, you know, we can kick that can down the road, and once we're old enough, she'll want to date me. But obviously, I needed to just get her to like me in the first place. I was trying all these things, stalking her, and like at the beginning of the year, like because I developed this crush pretty early into the fourth grade year. We like did like this worksheet where we like filled in little things about ourselves and stuff, and like she well, like we would like I guess it was just for the teachers and all maybe other students to get to know us, but so they posted like these worksheets outside the hall, so like everyone could see like what you wrote. And I specifically remember like I was looking for Angie's worksheet, and I looked at it, and I memorized everything on there, and I was like, okay, I need to learn all these things about her so I can know, and like I can, I don't know, impress her. I guess if like I don't even know what I would do. I guess, well, actually, I think I wasn't ever gonna say. I don't think I ever thought I was gonna be like, oh, hey, I know your birthday, your favorite color, your favorite animal, your favorite game, and all this stuff. I think I was just gonna like pretend that those were my favorite things too. Like, oh, that's your favorite color. That's my favorite color too. And then she'd just be like, oh, we have all these things in common and that sort of thing. Um, and we did have a few things in common, and I actually started to grow an appreciation for her personality, not just her looks. And I just like I thought she had a really cute laugh, and she was very funny. I felt, and she was also very like athletic and stuff, and I thought that was attractive. Um, she liked basketball a lot, and I also really liked to play basketball at the time, and I still like to watch basketball every now and again. So, yeah, basketball was something that we kind of had in common. But I never talked to her. I don't know. I wasn't. I was way too nervous about that, like to approach her or anything, because I felt like if I approached her, it would just be too obvious that I liked her, and then everybody would make fun of me and be like, haha, Ghost has a crush on Angie. And I would just be like ridiculed, and she would ridicule me. And I was like, yeah, we can't let her know that I have a crush on her. And like other guys in my class would ask, hey, Ghost, who you have a crush on? And they would always be loose lipped about it and be like, I have a crush on such and such. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, I don't have a crush on anybody. And they'd be like, no, Ghost, you totally do. No, no, man, no, I don't. And they were right, I did. But I was always like, no, 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 I don't have a crush on anybody. I was very secret about it, even to my own family. To this day, they don't even know about this crush. I mean, my sister's probably gonna watch this video, and then she'll know about this whole thing, and she'll be asking me a bunch of questions. But I never told anybody about this, even to this day. Basically, a lot of people anyway. I told like maybe some friends, and I actually told Angie herself, and I'll get to that later. But basically, nobody knew about this except for me, and it was like my deepest, darkest secret. Um, so yeah, but nothing really happened. I tried to do this whole like long distance stalking thing where I would like watch her, but it didn't really work out. Obviously, we didn't really interact at all that year. I mean, I think we interacted maybe a bit more than we probably have in the past. Maybe it was just because I was like more like focused on her so then I remembered, or maybe it was just because, yeah, we just did interact more, either because I was trying to bring that about or just coincidence or whatever, you know. But yeah, so I did interact with her a bit more, but it was not nearly to the point that I probably would have liked, or to the point where she would have even developed an attraction to me. I mean, I guess she could have theoretically, because I mean, all I did was look at her. We never even talked, and I was like, oh, I got a crush on her now. But I felt like she basically never noticed me. So I felt like I needed, I don't know. Yeah, in theory, maybe she could have developed a crush on me just by me doing absolutely nothing. But she was not. I don't think she had a crush on me. And I pretty much think that's been all but confirmed by this point. But yeah, I didn't, nothing really happened. But anyway, fourth grade ended, and it was, massive relief. It was definitely one of the toughest years of my life. I know it sounds silly, but I don't think I was ever as stressed as much as I was in fourth grade. Fourth grade was just awful, very tough, and very bad for, I think, long term anxiety. I think to this day I'm very afraid of talking to people who are like in authority. Like I'm afraid they're gonna yell at me or get angry at me. I think that's kind of like that goes back to me, like when I was in fourth grade, all the teachers would yell at me for stuff, and I kind of felt like I was not that smart and stuff, and you know, I feel like my anxiety got worse. Like I had a lot of anxious stuff in the past. Like like as I talked about in part one, I was like always crying before going to school and stuff, and I had that like anxiety about my mom leaving me and stuff, like at the place and stuff, and you know, so like there was like anxiety before that, and like even like this dentist that I went to go see, who like told my mom, your kid's very anxious. I think you should go take him to like a psychiatrist or something. And my mom just kind of brushed it off at the time, like, what does this guy know? What is he talking about? But maybe that dentist was on to something, because look at me now. But yeah, so the anxiety was already there, but I definitely think it got worse because of fourth grade and all that. In any case, the next year came around, and I was very intent on making my mark on Angie's conscious. I was like, I'm going to impress her, and I'm going to knock this stuff out the park in fifth grade. I was like, I'm going to make this my best year ever academically and athletically. Um, and yeah, so I did all these preparations and stuff. Like I was like, I'm going to study super hard when school starts. I didn't really do any like I didn't like do extra work in the summer or whatever, but I was like, when school starts, I'm gonna like do really good in school so that she can be impressed by my good grades or whatever. Um, and I'm gonna join like every sports team to impress her. And like it was in fifth grade, that was like the year that you could start joining the sports teams at my school. You could actually join the cross country team in fourth grade, and I actually like I found out she was really athletic because they would always announce that like she was doing all these like really finishing like in the top three or whatever in all these races or whatever in fourth grade, and you know I decided, oh yeah, I'm going to join cross country, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the swim team, basketball team, tennis team, soccer team, everything, everything. Because she was a pretty sporty girl. And I just wanted her to be impressed by my athletic prowess. The problem is I was never really much of an athletic person. I loved to play basketball, and I was in like a basketball league that my mom put me in. And at first, I didn't really like it, but I really grew to love it. So there was that, but like I was very out of shape. I was really bad at running. Like we would have to run at PE class, and I hated it, and I was really bad at it. I was usually one of the slower kids, and I was kind of overweight too. Like I wasn't eating well, eating a bunch of desserts all the time, and I ate like or I drank one or two Coca Colas every day. And so I was like a bit overweight. I wasn't really fat, but I was like, kind of pudgy. And so yeah, that was tough. Like it would like basically what I'm trying to say is I would not be doing all these sports if it weren't for Angie. I guess it's a mixed bag, it's kind of like, oh, it's good that she motivated me to get out of my comfort zone and do stuff and improve myself, because I did improve myself. Like I learned how to play tennis, and I learned about soccer and how to play soccer, and I ran a lot over the summer to try and build my endurance and get better at running, so I'd be ready for cross country in fifth grade. And at the beginning of the summer, I couldn't even make it to the end of the block, but by the time summer was over, I was running around the block a few times. The only problem is I feel like this might have set some sort of precedent for later on, where like I feel like to have more motivation, I need to have a woman or a relationship or something in my life to motivate me. And if I don't have like a girl in my life, either to aspire to be my girlfriend or to have as my girlfriend, I feel like I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I feel like a girl motivates me to be a lot more like try harder, be have more motivation, have more effort, do better at life. Um, and that's something that I feel like is kind of a problem with me. Like a lot of times I feel like, oh, I need a relationship, I need a girlfriend to be happy or to like be successful, and I have that mindset. And maybe like somehow that at a beginning with this whole Angie situation, but I don't really know. um, in any case, I'll get to the next part where we talk about how that worked in my fifth grade year and how all that worked, my plan to knock it out the park. And I'll also talk about my stepdad coming into my life. So, this is the end of part two. I'll see you guys all in the next part. And like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Bye.